Hello, how's everybody doing? This is Dance Without Music. It's in precision, but I'm not doing lessons in a row yet on precision. It's just kind of like updates, and more than an update because it's showing you that it's progressing. Okay, this Dance Without Music fourth year. And for people who are just coming in and haven't don't know about the 4 years that we have already accomplished, lessons you would have to start in the beginning. I always say that if you want to take the full advantage, but you can look at the videos because they're very, to me, there's a lot of fun. It's very intellectual and it tells you the reason and everything and all the other videos. So I only have a certain amount of time to do these videos. So I can explain a lot of things and terms and things like that I would like to, but I can't. But because they're already there, okay? So thank you. Thanks a lot for joining. So now getting back, like I said, I'm still processing. I'm getting there. It's really, really beautiful. It's proving true. I just want to say that, okay? And this dance on music, I'm the experiment or whatever, and you will see that it's working because it's working for me, okay? So, so now, okay, so what we did recently was we did the completing the square. And I'm using numbers, but I'm trying to get out of numbers, but I have to come up with a system to where I don't use numbers. But we did 5 times 5. We did, let me say, 5 squared, which is a very important one. And it was called completing the square because it was at a certain amount, and it's very important because it deals with 5 squared deals with, can I say radical 25? Yeah, radical 25. It deals with it deals with it deals with close and further away, okay? Like you said, 2 squared is pretty close. 4 squared is just really, really neat. And that's what we're going to do today. 4 squared. So we did the 4 squared, and then we did 2 squared, and we did 3 squared. But one thing you got to keep in mind, these are very good tools in this space that you've acquired, okay? It's not space that you see, okay? Because if you understand, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Okay, like if you walk down a hallway, okay, I'm sure people have walked down a hallway. I mean, a long hallway, and it doesn't appear to be real. I mean, it's real, but everybody knows it's light. If you cut off the lights, you're not going to see anything. But with the space that we obtain it mentally, okay, to where we can utilize space that I don't want to get too deep, that we conceive in our minds, okay? So if you notice already, the 5 squared has a personality of movements in the space. 3 square has a personality of movements in the space. And 4 squared, that means 4 squared most likely is going to have kind of like a characteristic of movements also, okay? So those are things that you have to notice. And then we can use different ones, but anyway, let's get into it. This one is for, this YouTube is for 4 squared, and that's what we're going to do. I'm going to use the sound like I did, and I usually make a short off of this one if it's done very well. So I hope I will. So the only thing I want you to keep in mind is that I have to say radical that I'm talking about has a different characteristic of movements. Okay, that's the only. So let me get into it. Okay. And I hope I figured it out for the amount of space that we have. So I'm going to get into it, okay? I have to use the terms that we've gathered along the way on our 4-year journey. And the other quadrant on this one, on the 4 squared, we're going to use the other quadrant and the the other quadrant, and you know this thing switches around, so it kind of makes it a little bit complex for you. So the other quadrant and the natural quadrant, this is the one that's closest to your heart. The other quadrant or the right quadrant, just have anything to do with right and left. That's another thing we don't deal with, right and left, okay? If you noticed in the 5 squared, like I said, it has a characteristic of movements. Although the function is the one that you, how can I say? I can say that where the function is, or the function itself, it's almost like it creates space for itself. Okay, so on that one, when we made the movements, it appeared as I have to say that I'm not going to say appeared. I'm going to say that was like in the between quadrant. It's another term. So between quadrant, like I said, I can't go over all the terms. Okay, so that one was more like the between quadrant. Although the function is the one that requires the space, that makes the space, that forms the space, that counts the space, that the space is counted for, okay, all of those things, okay? So it was more like this, okay, which is like a between quadrant. Let me see, radical 9, can I say? That one was the natural quadrant and the other quadrant, okay, because we went, no, not radical 9, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm going to say, since we're already there, radical 9, 3 squared. And it did the between quadrant, the other quadrant, and the natural quadrant. And then 2 squared utilized the other quadrant and the right quadrant, okay? So it was like this, and then it was like this. And the function went from here to here, okay? I'm not going to say, you have to find out where the quadrant is. Where the function is and everything. That was really detailed, okay? Okay, so now we're going to go on into it, and I just had to tell you that. So now we're going to look at the personnel. We're going to find out the movements in I guess that would be 4 squared. Yes. Excuse me, in 4 squared. So here we go. And I'm going to make the sound for each one. And here, I think I need this much space. And there's going to be one to where I'm going to be, my back is going to be to you. But, that's the way the movement of 4 squared is going to be. So I'm going to start it here. Sometimes I may not do sound or recognize the first where it started. And I guess I can say from this other class that I have, I can say that it's the mark. Okay, I can use that term. So the mark, sometimes I'm not going to refer to it in a sound. I know on Radical 25, I didn't use the sound on the mark. So the mark is going to be called the one that you start from. Okay, so here I go. But this time I'm going to use it. Okay. Okay, there's a problem. I did one thing. there's one thing I gotta tell you about. When you do this, no, Kelly. I'm watching it. I'm watching my friend's dog, and I don't want her to come in pretty soon, Kelly. But I want to finish this lesson first. There's another point I wanted to make to you. The function is in your mind, of course, but you have to formulate. Now we're at the point to where you have to formulate the radical, the 4 squared, okay, before you start. So if you formulate it, it's already formulated. That's another thing. That's another beauty about it. And so you don't like do it just by looking and then doing it. No, it's not anything like that, because you're going to have to manipulate it later on, okay? It's your space and you have to manipulate it. So in order to do this one, okay, and that goes in the function. The entire space, all the spaces that it achieves, the function achieves, one of the things that's put into the function is the radical, or the 4 squared. So I did that, but I didn't do it, and that's why I had a problem. So I have to do that. Then there's another thing that I have to think about, is I have to think about the movements that's made, because we're using quadrants, okay? So your quadrants have to be in the right space, okay? So I have to, on the third space, that I have to feed that into the function also, and I have to feed into it my starting. The reason why I have to feed into it, because I have to go from, I guess you can say I'm actually utilizing 2 squared, okay? Because it's 2 squared, 2 squared, 2 squared, and 2 squared. But that's a little bit more complicated and more deep, but I'm not going to get into that. So the only thing I'm going to say here is that I do have to put things into the function that I need, okay? So I'm putting into it 4 squared. I'm sorry for numbers, but pretty soon we're going to, I don't know when, but I have to drop the numbers soon. I'm putting into it the 4 squared, so you can see the 4 squared where you're going. And then I'm going to I have to figure out, because I have to make 4 squared, 4 squared, 4 squared. So what I have to do is, let me see. So I could do 2. Okay. Oh, wait. No, yeah. Okay, I'm trying to see if I could do 2. Okay. Which also takes me to the point to where we have to figure out, since we already formulated the 4 squared, okay, we put that into the function. We also have to put in the function, which quadrant I'm starting on, okay? So I have to start on a certain quadrant. So I would have to start on the other quadrant. Let me show you. The reason why I have to start on the other quadrant, which is because in my other videos it shows you can go from one quadrant to the next, but I can't explain it. It's in the other videos. So I'm here, and then I have to move to this quadrant. Okay? So that means I have to put in a starting point in the function. Okay? So anyway, all of that's done now. So now we have to start on the other quadrant, and now I'm going to do it again. Like I said, there's been times when I did the completing square. It's been a long time when I was able to do it, okay? I wasn't able to do it for a long time. I tried, it got closer and closer, but now I nailed it, Okay, so now we got to see if we can nail this 4. Most likely we can do 4 square because we did 5 square already. Okay, so here we go. Okay, that's it.